Okay, this is going to be the Algebra 1 SOL Core Concepts Review. These are some of the concepts you should be able to do to pass the SOL. I'm just going to write a lot of these on the board. You're going to get a worksheet. I'm going to do one of each type, okay? So I'm not going to do all, I think there's 30 on here. I'm not going to do that many, okay? Okay, question 1, okay? Let's say you have something like 10x minus 4 plus 2x equals 3 times x plus 8, let's say, all right? And the directions say solve, all right? So this is an equation. So when you have this equal sign, what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to go and graph it. So you're going to go to menu, you want to go to graph. You're going to type this line in on that side, so 10x minus 4 plus 2x. Okay. On the other side, you're going to type this line in. 3 times x plus 8. All right. So 3 parentheses x plus 8. All right. Oops. Let me close that parenthesis. All right. And then you're going to draw. Okay. Now I'm going to try to do zoom auto. Okay. And there's my answer right there. So I'm doing G-solve intersect, which is F5, and I get an answer of 3.1. Repeating, okay? So that's my answer for that one, all right? The next one could say something like this. Question number 2, solve, okay? I might have something like 8x minus 4 less than 10x plus 16. Now, we're also going to graph this one, okay? Now, in the past, this has been our first line. This has been our second line. Okay, now, to help us with our inequality, okay, because what I'm going to do, all right, I'm going to go back and delete these. Now, what I'm going to do to help me, okay, I'm going to type in my second line right here. Now, what we can do, and this is going to be a little bit different, I think it's going to be a lot more easier for folks. If you look at the inequality, when you get to the second line, all you got to do is type it in like you see it. So go to type, F6, and I'm just going to choose the one that matches up to my second line. Okay? So that's going to be 10x plus 16. Now, when you go up to the first line, if it's going that way for that one, for this other one, we're just going to flip it around. So type. So instead of choosing that one like I did before, I'm going to choose the other one. So that's going to be 8x minus 4, okay? So if you notice, they're going the opposite way. And the way you know you're right is if this one looks like the second line. So if I draw, all right, I'm going to have to zoom out, okay? And I'm going to do G-solve intersect, and I got negative 10, okay? Now, if you notice, that's going to the right, so that's going to be x is greater than negative 10. If it was on a number line, you would be shaded like that, okay? So the key thing is do this first, okay? All right, and then look at that inequality, all right? All right, next type of answer, next type of problem that I like to go over is something that looks like this. Let's say I've got, let me find a good problem here for us to do. All right, let's say something like this. Solve. Let's say 2x plus 4y equals negative 4. Let's say 2x plus y equals 8. Okay? Now, this is a system of equations. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go into menu, and I'm going to go to equal. All right, now since I got 2 of these, it's going to be a simultaneous F1, 2 solutions, so I'm going to type these in. 2, 4, negative 4. This one's going to be 2. The number in front of y here is 1, and then 8. And then I hit solve. So my answer here is x equals 6, and y equals negative 4. Okay? All right, make sure you read the directions on problems of those types. Okay? Moving on to the next one. Another direction, it would say something like this, solve. All right? Let's say it's something like this. Let's say it's solve 4x squared minus 12x plus 5, okay, equals 0. All right, solve zeros, roots, x-intercepts, all mean the same thing. These are all the same thing. Where I'm going to go is I'm going to go to equal, menu, equal. All right, let me go back here. I'm going to select the one that says polynomial, degree 2. Type those numbers in, 4, negative 12, and 5. Solve. Okay? So I get an answer of x equals 5 halves. Okay? And if I drag this over, that's going to be x equals 1 half. Okay? And then I stop right there. They tell me just to solve, that's all I'm going to do. The next thing they're going to have is something that will say like this. Factor. Okay? Factor. And let's say I have something like this. 49x squared minus 14. Okay? Now, what I want to do is I want to go to the same place. All right? I want to go into the same place. So I want to go back here. All right? I want to go to polynomial, degree 2. Now, what this means is what's the number in front of x squared? 49. Okay? What's the number in front of x? 0. What's the number that's over here? Negative 14. And I hit solve. Okay? Actually, I'm sorry, I don't want to do negative 14. I want to do something like negative 36. Sorry about that. Let's go back and change that. Let's make that negative 36. All right? Now, I get an answer of x equals 6/7. Okay? And x equals negative 6/7. Okay, I'm going to do a couple of these factoring ones. So to create these are the solutions, but to go to factors, all right, what I do first is all I do is I get rid of this. All right, I'm changing the sign. So all I do is change. Okay, this one's going to be a plus. Okay, to finish it out, I move those out in front. So it's 7x minus 6, 7x plus 6. Okay, another factoring example, okay, for you to look at would be something like this. Let's say I've got my page, what I want to find here. All right, let's say I've got 6x squared minus 13x plus 2. All right, so what I want to do is I want to go into, go back to equal. I do 6, negative 13, and 2. All right, I solve. I get x equals 2. And if I scroll down here, x equals 1/6. So to convert those to factors, that's going to be x minus 2. Convert that one, it's going to be x minus 1/6. Since I have this fraction, I'm going to move that up. So it's 6x minus 1, x minus 2. Okay? You should be good at that. Okay? The next stuff, okay, the next stuff is finding equations. Find equation of a line. Okay? I'm going to start out with an example like this. 10, negative 4, to, let's say 18, or negative 18. Okay? Negative 2. Okay? All right. So what I want to do if I have those is I want to go into menu. I want to go to stat, and I want to type these in. This is my x, this is my y, this is my x, this is my y. Okay? So what I do is I type in 10, and then next to it it's going to be negative 4. And then I'll type in negative 2, and next to that is negative 18. All right? Now, what I want to do is I want to go to calculate. Since I'm figuring out a line, that's for stats. I want to do the regression, which is F3. I want to do the line. Now you're going to have one extra button. You'll have to hit an AX plus B. So here's what this means. This is going to be y equals, okay, all right, 1.16 repeating x, okay, minus 15.6 repeating. Now, this represents my slope. This represents my y-intercept. So if they ask you a question about either of those, you can do that. Now, if you need to convert those to fractions, if I go back to my blank screen, okay, and I do 1.16, I type all the way to the end, hit enter, and then convert to a fraction to decimal, that's going to be y equals 7 over 6x minus, okay, and do the same thing with 15.6. If they give you the thing in a fraction form, just go to the end, do that, convert it to that. That's going to be 47 over 3. Okay? So that's the way you can convert there. Another type where it says find the equation. Okay? Is something where they'll say like the x-intercept is 6, the y-intercept is -3. Now, what the x-intercept is a point is 6, 0. So when they have the intercepts, that goes right into there. Y-intercept is -3. 0, -3, because that's the x, that's the y. Okay? So once again, go ahead and use your calculator. Go to menu and stat. All right, I'm going to type in 6 and 0. Notice they go next to each other. And 0 and -3. All right. Oh, oops, I don't need to graph it. Calc, regression, x. Okay, so I got y equals 0.5 x minus 3. Now, if I wanted to create those into fractions, that 0.5, I just do 0.5, enter, then f the fraction to decimal, so that's 1/2 x minus 3. Okay? Another one that you'd have to do, they might have two examples here. They might say this. They give you like a big graph like that. They'll say this is x and this is y. They might say this is 7, 30, let's say 5 and 22, let's say 10 and 42, let's say 3 and 14, okay? And they might have a couple things. They might say find the equation of a line. They might also say something like find x when y is, 82. When y is 82. Okay? Now, we're going to do the same exact thing. Find the equation doesn't change. So menu, stat, type in all the x's, 7, 5, 10, 3. Oops, 7, 5, 10, 3. Okay, this side, 30, 22, 42, 14. Okay, calculate, regression, x. All right, so what I got here is an equation of y equals 4x plus 2. Now, to get that part of it, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go into menu, and I'm going to go to graph. I'm going to delete these things, delete them. Make sure the type is set to y equals. So I'm typing in 4x plus 2. Draw. Okay, now, I'm going to have to zoom out a bunch. Zoom out, enter. Zoom out, enter. Zoom out, enter. Now, it says, find x when y is 82. Okay, so if it says find x, what I want to do is I want to calculate x. Okay, so then when I go into GSolve, I go to F6. I want to calculate my x, and my y value is 82. All right, and it tells me my answer here is 20. Okay, all right, moving on. All right. I'm going to do two examples of reducing square roots and cube roots. Let's say I have something like this, 108x 14y 21, okay? If you need to reduce a square root, all right, you can divide them in your calculator. So if I go to menu, 108 divided by 2, okay? As you can see, I get 54. So I got 2 and 54. If I divide 54 by 2, I get 27. The next way I divide by 27 is 9, 3, and 3. Now, since it's a square root, I'm looking for groups, pairs. So here's a pair, here's a pair. If it has a branch from it, I can't use it anymore. So what's going to happen is one of these each are going to be on the outside, and then that lone 3 is going to be on the inside. Okay? So what I'm going to have there is 6 square root of 3. Now, to figure out the variables, I do 14 divided by 2. Okay? 14 divided by 2. 7. So if that's x to the 7th, that's just going to be x to the 7 on the outside. All right? 21 divided by 2. That's going to be 10.5. Okay? So if I get 10.5, what that means is y 10 on the outside, y 1 on the inside. If you get that, that means 1 on the inside. Okay? All right? For a cube root, let's just do something simple. Okay? Cube root, I'd break that down 2 and 16, 2 and 8, 2 and 4, 2 and 2. I can't use these anymore. Now, since it's a cube root, I'm looking for groups of 3. So one of those is going to be on the outside. Those 2 are left over on the inside. That's going to be 2 cube root of 4. Okay? So that's producing a square root and a cube root. Okay? Some other simple stuff. Let's say you get directions that say evaluate. All right? One example would be, let's say A equals 49, B equals 8, and it would have something like 10 cube root of B minus the square root of A. Okay? So what you should do there, if you get that, is you're going to program in 49, arrow, alpha, and then A is right there, enter. Then 8, arrow, alpha, B, enter. So now they're in, and you type them in like you see them. 10, shift, there's the, there's the cube root. Alpha B minus the shift here would be there, alpha A, and let that give you your answer, which would be 13. Okay? Another type of question that you could get with evaluate would be something like this. Let's say 5x squared minus 12x minus 6. And they put a little f of x thing here, and they say find f of negative 12. Okay? No, let's not do negative 12. Let's do f of negative 10. Okay? So what that's telling you to do, is take negative 10, program that in for x. Okay? So I got 5x squared minus 12x minus 6. Minus 12x minus 6. And I get an answer of 614. Simple evaluate-based question. Okay? All right? Let's say you're given a set of data. Let's say 3, 5, 8, 8, 8, 12, 16, 20. Okay? And we want to find, let's say, the mean. Okay? Let's say we want to find the median. Let's say we want to find the standard deviation. Okay, let's say we want to find the variance. Let's say we want to find the interquartile range. Let's say we want to find the box plot. Okay? So, what we want to do here is we want to go to menu and we want to go to stat. Okay, I'm going to delete all these things. All right, 3, 5, 8, 8, 8, 12, 16, and 20. Okay, now when I go to calculate here, I'm not choosing this anymore. Regressions for the lines, I'm choosing that. So that little x bar is going to be your mean. So that's going to be 10. Okay. If you scroll down here, the MED is the median, which will be 8. The standard deviation thing is up here. That's the little O with the X. That's going to be 5.3. Okay, I'll show you how to get variance in a second. All right. Well, let's go ahead and then for the these two we'll have to calculate. Oh, the other thing I want you to do is be able to find. Whoops, I left off one. Let's make this E, F, and G. I want you to find the regular range. Okay. Now to make the box plot. Okay. we go ahead and we use this information. So 3 and 6.5. The median was 8. Okay. Q3 is 14, max is 20. Okay, so that lays out, so this is the min, this is Q1, the median, Q3, the max. Okay, so to find this other data, the range is the max minus the min. So that's 20 minus 3, which is 17. Okay, to get the interquartile range is Q3 minus Q1. So that's 4 minus 6.5, which will be 7.5. Okay? To get the variance, it's 5.3 squared. Okay? Whatever that standard deviation is, it's going to be 5.3 squared. All right? I know I jumbled that up a lot, but I think a lot of us know how to do that. 28.09. Okay? That's going to be your variance. All right? Okay, next thing. Let's say here was a point. Let's say 4, negative 6. Let's say I wanted to draw a vertical line and find the equation. Okay? So the equation and the slope. Let's say I wanted to do a horizontal line. Okay? Equation and slope. Okay? Now, here's what you have to remember. Hoi, Vox. Hoi stands for horizontal. Okay? So if it's a horizontal line, that's what I want. That's going to be a y equals based equation. Well, what's my y here? Negative 6. What's the slope? That stands for 0. For a vertical line, that's here. That's going to be an x equals equation. My x equals will be 4. My slope, this means undefined. Okay? So hoi vox is how you do those. Okay? A couple of exponent problems. Let's say I got 18x12 over 2x7. You divide those, that's division. Subtract those, it's x5. Okay? If you get something like this, 2x7 raised to the third times 4x to the negative 14. Okay? What you should do is pretend like the numbers, or the exponents aren't there. So that's what I got. Okay? So I type in, I get 32. These you multiply. So that's going to be x 21, x negative 14. So I add those. So that's x7. And since it's positive, it's going to stay there. If it's negative, like let's say I had this. If it's ever negative, it moves underneath. Okay? It becomes positive. All right? Last two, graph the lines. Okay? I'm going to give you two examples, an A and a B. Let's say I've got 1/2 x minus 4. And let's say I've got 6x minus 3y equals 18. Okay? Now, for this one, let's make it simple. Let's go into the calculator and graph it. Menu, graph. All right, I'm going to delete this, and I'm going to do 1/2 x minus 4. All right, I'm going to draw. Now, to fix my graph, F3, F3, exit draw. Now, here's what we're going to do. All right, to make it easier on us so we don't make mistakes. All right, G-solve y-intercept. Okay, 0, negative 4. So it even tells you where to go. Okay, G-solve root. Okay, root 8, 0. It even points to where they want you to put it. Then connect the dots. So this one is the root. This one is the y-intercept. Okay, for this, what I'm going to do is, because they're on the same side, I set them equal to each other, or equal to 18. X equals 3. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to 3 here. Okay? Divide by negative 3 on this one. I get y equals negative 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. And then I connect the dots. Okay? So if you practice those basic concepts, you will do well in the SOL.